After you. Plough us a good furrow.
It might be a drag job.
Jesus. I know what I'm like in these wellies. I'll be slipping all the way.
Just thinking of the last one.
Slip. Oh, it's lovely actually. Couple of huskies, we'll do this, no trouble. Gonna fall over. Squelch. Bit of mud wrestling did no one any harm.
Come on then, let's have it.
Alright, set right back. Simply lovely. Well, it's quite tight pegging, which is understandable considering it's flooded. But look at that, my peg is set right back in between two trees. I felt around and there's a little jetty, another 3 meters. I don't know where to get my waders. If I hook a carp, I ain't going to get it out. Those trees there. Oh, and that's how close the next angler is. So I don't really fancy it at all. Well, good morning. I am on my way back to peg 56 on Speci, or paper peg 56 anyway. I don't know if it's proper peg 56 because the lake's rather high. So for those that don't know, well, this is Larford Lakes, and for those that don't know, all of this was underwater a week ago. Very, very tragic, really. The River Severn has burst its banks and gone straight into Larford, and potentially lost a lot of fish from the Speci Lake. But we don't know. We'll know come summer, I imagine, just how many fish have been lost when it finally drops and when we start seeing a few matches. But we're still supporting the venue. Our condolences go out to Phil Briscoe and his team who look after Larford, and still a fantastic venue, and we're still supporting it. There's 60 of us here today on the very last Golden Rod Qualifier. So, there's going to be 20 on the match burr, on the match grass bank, which will definitely win the match. There was a £222 off it yesterday, so the match lake's definitely not been affected. If anything, it might have gained some more fish. And the backup weights were phenomenal on there, so that's where everyone wanted to draw today, albeit an end peg on there. They've put 20 anglers on the Speci burr and then 20 anglers on the Speci Shallow bank, which is where I am today. So and to be fair, the Speci Lake's going to be a bit fairer. Not quite sure where my section will be won, although my tip is peg 52 because he's out on a point of a bit more room than everyone else, and we're quite tight where we are, to be fair. I've just gone back for my waders because my peg's really set back and I've got two trees in front of me. If I do hook a carp, I'm not going to get it out, so I'm just going to wade out a couple of meters, or as far as, slightly above welly height and see how we get on. But it's going to be a simple match for me. I don't really fancy it at all, really, but I'm going to fish short feeder, skimmers, hopefully a carp or two, and that'll be it, really. And then if I do hook a carp or a bream or whatever, hopefully I can get them out, because there's going to be all sorts of snags and things in there washed in from the river. So but yeah, it's going to be an interesting match. Feeder only, no catapults, no bombs, and 5 hours to find out who's going to qualify for the very last 3 spots in the Golden Rod final. These are the shallows. We're quite high up on this burr now, on the shallow bank, and to think that the river has been in those houses. Poor souls in there. It's been actually, you could see footage on the news, on mainstream news, with the water over people's cat flaps and things. And look, there's all the pallets in the background. Can you see that? They've all been, well, there's one there, and there's all those lifted there, floating everywhere they were, and I think they're all up the side there. God, they've had some water in this place. Well, this was one lake, can you believe it? One lake, all 3 lakes joined. got my waders on. First job is trying to find out where the platform is. It drops off there and it drops off there, and then it just keeps going. So I just want to, if I can get a little bit further out, I might actually get some fish in if I can. And it just drops off there, so that's the end. I've got a platform. You can see how high the river was just by all these leaves caught in the fence. Look at that. That's a hell of a lot of water. Hell of a lot of water. Well, I've set 2 rods at 5.5 wraps. Just felt right, comfortable and everything. And then I'm going to fish a shorter like that, and I've also got a long rod just to chuck way past. And just 3 rods, 2 10-foot 10 excess slims, 3.3 metres and a 3.6 metre. That's it. In for a penny, in for a pound. Big feeders at the start, maybe 3. Some skimmers on it as well as a carp, hopefully. Very tight pegging today, so we'll have to see if a positive approach will work. One more. Right, another banana. Well, we're 15 minutes into the match, and I've not seen anyone have a fish anywhere yet, which isn't too surprising because it's obviously still only March. And but I think my gut feeling is that we'll catch some fish, but I think to qualify we're the wrong end of the lake. I think the end peg will probably qualify. If not, it'll be 2 or 3 anglers down from him. I think it's going to be a low weight, 30-40 pound would be mega today, I think. Maybe 50 pound to qualify. Depends if those carp show up the other end, but I don't think, no one's seen any fish move or anything. Nothing's moving at all here. But my approach is to fish short, basically. I think there's enough colour and enough turbulence and everything close in for, and it's certainly deep enough. These are the deeper pegs, so I think I've got a very good chance of catching short. A little underarm in swim, about 7 metres out, and a line which is about 16 metres out, and that's it. I have got a longer rod to chuck further if people start catching odd fish further out, but my experience here, especially the wind blowing this way and everything, even them bream and skimmers, they'll all be short. That's my gut feeling, and hopefully we can catch some nice big skimmers and bream. I'm going to fish positive, pellet and corn to start with. I have got worms on standby, but they're not going to go in yet until I know I can't catch on corn and pellets. But I'm kicking off positively, hoping for a carp or two, which I think most of us will be doing the same, and then we'll try and get our heads down. Corn, pellets, dead maggots, stuff like that, and then if we have to, we'll put some chopped worms in. But I'm trying to be positive, trying to fish to qualify. There's no point trying to just fish for a section at the moment. If I can catch 1 or 2 carp, then happy days. I'm just going to run up a chuck, put on me 16 metres thread. Little lob. Fish. Give that first cast 15 minutes, nothing. Around me they've probably had half a dozen casts in that time. No one's caught yet. Oh, the grebe in front of me's just had a fish. That grebe's winning. Pellets on my first few casts as well, just get some bait in. If there's any amount of skimmers, they'll clear that up. So, just using a 32 gram open alloy feeder. You're allowed elasticated here, so swapping and changing feeders nice and easy. That's just the fishery micros. Got a little bit of new sticky pellets here upon them. Bit of a glove, bit of a sweet scent. Hopefully we'll catch a few bream on this, and 10 carp would be nice. 2 or 3 carp would be awesome. I don't use a stopwatch, but I've actually got a watch on my side tray there, if you can see that. So I'm going to give that 12 minutes to start with. Come on, you fish. Because there's already a bit of bait in there. I'll see if I can quickly twist you a bigger one. Chance of catching a skimmer on this. Still plenty strong enough to catch a carp. I just spoke in a southwesterly accent. Carp. Carp. Cornish pasty. Do a Cornish pasty right now. A bit chilly with that rain. Long stem on that one. Some hoofy. 5 minutes in, and the 3 pegs from the left has had a couple of bream. The guy to my right has had 3 or 4 tiny fish, and I don't think anyone else has caught yet. The lady behind the guy next door has been up to the end and no one's had a fish up there yet, which is a good sign for us. So hopefully that means it's hard for everyone. And so keep plugging away. 2 breams, nothing to catch up on. But it just shows that it's fishing really, really hard, as we all expected. Catch a few skimmers. Next size feeder up. Chuck on a little feeder first. A little short flopper. There. Whoa, and his landing net's come apart. Pretty sure I had my first indication on the tip. We are an hour and 40 minutes in, and I definitely had a liner of some description. I've looked out and I can't see any grebes immediately in front of me. There's 2 liners I've had now. Take long either. Just went straight round. Bugger. Fish. It's over a pound anyway. Felt like a couple of pounds. 12 hook. Oh, really squeezed that. Yeah, I've lost one as well.
20 gram 4-hole cage feeder. Mostly micros, a bit of field expander, 2 dead maggots, 16. Nice one. I feel there might be 1 or 2 there now. Especially getting a few liners before it.
Brian said 6 up there, and you've got more than 6.
Younger looking fish. Well, I've got 2 bream for probably £5, and up to about 30-40 minutes ago £6 was winning the 20 peg zone, so I'm a bit gutted I've lost that bream, the first one I hooked, because that was a good £2 as well. The guy to my left's had a carp and one small skimmer, I think, and then someone to the right's got £6. So so I'm definitely in the race. It's fishing rubbish, but I suddenly feel like there's a few fish there now. All the bream I've had have come to dead maggots, 2 or 3 on the hook, and they've all come pretty quick. So we've been like 4 or 5 minutes anyway. So I'm going to keep plugging away on this, well, I mean long short line, which is about 16 metres, and keep feeding my short underarm lobbing swim as well, because I've got that size of bream. Oh, that's a little liner then. That size of bream will hopefully come short as well. Certainly in the last hour I'd hope to catch a few of them, but they don't half hang on. Real heavy plodding fish when I've hooked them. Great fun. Well, we've got an hour and a quarter to go, and I'm on 4 bream now. I've just had 2 in 2 drops, pretty quick on the short line. So it's been right to prime that with pellets and corn all day. Before dropping on it, I put 3 big sort of bait up feeders full on the 16 metre line as well. So hopefully when I go on that, there might be 1 or 2 there as well. But it's nice that there's a couple of bream at least arrived on that short line. So the first 2 fish I've had on maggots, and then these last 2, I was getting a lot of silverfish bites and little tiny fish and stuff in the peg, so sticking with corn now. I've tried an expander, it just didn't seem right. So I'm just fishing hairy corn now, and it certainly worked for those last 2 fish. Up there. Well, that's got to be £10, isn't it?
No, £10 up there.
Oh, right.
And then 8 bream down there.
Oh, right. Well, I must have close to 10. Okay, 50 minutes to go. I've got 5 bream now. The best in the section is 8 bream. One of the pegs, either the end peg or 2 or 3 from the end, has got 8 bream. And the best weight to the right, apparently, is the end peg. He's got £10. So my 5 bream are definitely going £10. So by my reckoning, I might be second in the zone at the moment, or there or thereabouts. Depends how big the other guy's bream are. If they're the same size as mine, then he's going to have, well, he'll probably have £20. So, but I've definitely got double figures with my 5. And I had this first 2 on hairy corn and a cage feeder, then nothing. So I just plopped a little method feeder with a hairy corn on it, and I've had one. I've had to wait a little while, but I had one. So I'm just plopping it again just to see. It's sunny and raining at the same time at the moment, but I'm doing well. I'm beating everyone around me. The guy to my left still had a carp and just a couple of small skimmers. I think 2 ups had a bream. I don't think he's had any bream to my right, just small skimmers. So I feel my positive sort of approach is almost there. It's almost enjoyable, this, as hard as it is.
Jon Arthur. John, your head's on right, apparently.
It's got 8 bream up there, someone has.
No, what are your 4 carp going?
5 bream. I've got double figures.
Sam's got 8 to 10 pounds, he said.
What, with 8 bream?
Yeah, she's got 8 bream for about £10. So he's got 8 skimmers.
Well, they're not bream, are they? I've got 5 bream.
Yeah.
They are bream. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that flock on the tree.
Yeah.
Got just double figures.
My 5 must go doubles,
Yeah,
Darren. Yeah.
they're normally good ones here.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I've lost 1 and got 5.
you just fishing method?
No, I've had one and lost one on the method and 4 on the cage. I've just had the last one on a little method.
Have you found your pallet there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be this far out. I'd rather be a bit, but it's a walkway.
Yeah.
Just trying under the tree.
Now's the time if you're going to get one, and it's
Yeah.
you just as much chance of getting a bream there anyway.
I know. I've only fished short all day.
Nothing caught long, was it?
I've only had one chuck long anyway. No one's. You don't, do you? Here?
The only time you catch them long is on paddock waggler.
Yeah.
You don't seem to live on the bottom here now. How far you fished? About 15 metres.
I've had 2 at 16 metres and 3 at about 8.
Quite shallow here, isn't it? I'm sure.
Oh, that's quite deep.
Well, today, 8 metres is fairly shallow, isn't it? There's a lot of shit like that.
No, first time, but that's under the trees.
Keep going, mate.
Yeah.
£12, John.
Yeah, hopefully. About that.
I'll say you want the best anyone for me to is 10.
Well, I've got 10. Yes, I. Love you. Well, I suppose so, if the carp ain't fed. Still fancy that end peg to catch some of the last hour. Wipe everyone out like it normally does. needed that one. Big bream, big one. Just came off. Had it straight away. Okay. Yeah. The big one that was. Not so big this one. What are we fishing till? What was I going to say? 2 minutes late. We're up!
Well, we're just waiting for the scales now. Pretty much packed away. Sounds like I've done all right. After 2 hours of probably being the last person to catch, I've ended up catching, what, 7 or 8 bream and a skimmer. Or a skimmer and a tiny little skimmer, and it sounds like Sam Brown's done well further to my left. He's admitting to 8 bream. He might have had some more after that, and then the end peg had got £10 with an hour to go. So it doesn't sound like anyone else has caught, certainly not within eye shot. So I'm hopefully going to be top 3 in the 20 peg zone. Maybe enough to qualify, but surely someone to my right is going to have caught a carp in that last hour, but you just never know. So we'll wait and see what the scales say.
Well, I've only gone and made it, haven't I? I've qualified for the final. Can't believe that. 2 hours into the match, I was probably last on the lake. The only one I could see who hadn't actually caught a fish. Then I lost my first fish, lost a nice bream on the way in. But then I've caught 7 or 8 more. Then I've lost one with 5 minutes to go, chucked it out, and I've had one with a minute to spare. And yeah, they've gone £20. It's fished rock hard, my bank, absolutely rock hard. I didn't realise until a bit into the match that they hadn't fished that bank at all since the flood. So it's obviously not seen any bait. The fish are still there, but they've just not seen any bait. And so that's possibly why it's been such a slow start, and also just harder than the opposite bank. But I think the end pegs had £13. Sam Brown's had £16, and I've had £20. And that's been enough to win the 20-man zone. I say 20-man zone, but there's actually been a lady in the zone as well. So tactics today. I think this worked really well today, what I've done. I was certainly doubting them after 2 hours, even 2.5 hours. I was thinking, shall I go behind me and get me chopped worm and start chopping some worms up? But I just really fancied going down a positive corn and pellet route. Not too much ground bait, no dead maggots other than on the hook. And nothing small or anything. I didn't want to catch small fish. I didn't want to track the small fish. I wanted to track those bream, because those bream are the weight builders. And also, by fishing for bream, in that manner, you give yourself a very, very good chance of catching a carp. Now, Dean Barlow, my mate Dean's won the bank on the opposite. He's won the zone on the opposite bank. He's had a 21-pound carp last minute. So you know, you've got to stack your odds in your favour. If you're fishing all light and delicate with double pinky with little light hook lengths and that, you're not going to get a 21-pound carp out. So so I felt the tactics I fished gave me a good chance of fishing good baits, big baits for quality fish like bream, but also gave me a fighting chance if I hooked a carp as well. So anyway, it's worked out. I fished a nice little 4-hole matrix standard cage feeder with hairy corn. That's on 0.16 to a 16 up was best, about a 15-inch tail, and the other rig was a 32-gram open alloy feeder mostly. I had a couple on dead maggots, 3 dead maggots, but actually hairy corn was again best. So sort of breamy baits. I've tried wafters and washters, and I've tried other bits and bobs. I've tried punch meat as well, which is normally quite good for me on that lake, but it wasn't today. But corn just seemed best. I fed a bit of corn as well, which has helped, and putting in 3 or 4 of those sort of big baiting feeders has helped as well. Just put a better bait in. It's very coloured, the lake. There's a lot of silverfish in there, a lot of these little things. If I had a fish single maggot, I'm sure I'd have had these little fish all day. So but I was trying to avoid them and trying to fish positive and trying to fish something that's going to catch me those better bream. And they've been really nice bream as well, really old gnarly fish. Definitely not ones that have come from the river, because you can just tell by the tails and that. You can tell a bream that's been in a commercial, its tail tends to be a little bit stubby and battered and everything. And those fish were old warriors from Larford, Speci Lake. They're the original fish. So it's nice to see that they haven't lost those. And the guy to my left's had a carp. The end peg to my right's lost a carp. And I think there's been some carp caught on the opposite bank, including that 21-pounder that Dean had. So they're still there. But anyway, my wife's just come home with my daughter. So anyway, that's that. I've qualified for the final. It's next weekend, 2 days, 12 grand to the winner. Hopefully that'll be me.